Welcome to Taking Care of Business with Freddie Fix-It Santori as they bring the power of AMP2.TV video format to the radio. Today's show will have interviews and concepts that bring you, the public, closer to how real radio and television work hand in hand to bring the best platform to sell your business. Tune in on the WWNNradio.com website or follow AMP on AMP2.TV website to see radio.
Hi, I'm Sabrina Barnett, and we're here taking care of business with three beautiful, amazing people from a charity called Wheels from the Heart. Annie, Steve,
Good evening.
and Reverend Don. Hello. Thank you so much, all of you, for being here. We truly appreciate your presence. I would like to start out with you, Annie Payton.
Perfect.
Director of Development for Wheels from the Heart. Annie, tell me, please, and tell our listeners, what made you choose this role at Wheels from the Heart? You have an incredibly vetted background, which I'd love for you to talk to our listeners about. But what made you choose Wheels from the Heart out of all the organizations?
Well, I have noted from my work in charities in the Palm Beach County area that there are so many single moms with kids who have great needs in order to move on with their lives and achieve sustainability. And one of the biggest problems that these moms have, will be no surprise to hear, is reliable transportation. Yes. Many of them do not have cars, and they spend hours each day traveling on buses and trains, public transportation, to get to and from work. Mm-hmm. So their children hardly ever see them, and they arrive home exhausted. And it's very difficult for them to take advantage of educational and career opportunities that may otherwise be available to them if they had a reliable vehicle.
We take it for granted, a lot of us, and as I've learned more and more about Wheels from the Heart, so many of us do have vehicles and reliable vehicles. I think a lot of these women are so thankful to get any vehicle. So if anybody has any cars out there, is that something that you, as Wheels from the Heart, would accept as a donation as well as just financial contributions?
There are two ways that people can help us. Well, actually, there are more than two ways.
Our listeners, are you guys listening to this? There's more than two ways to help.
Write those down.
One way, of course, is to give an outright cash donation or a recurring donation to Wheels from the Heart. And later in the program, we'll give you the information about how you can do that. The other way, of course, is if you have a vehicle or a relative who's not using their vehicle anymore,
right,
you can donate that vehicle to us and receive full Kelley Blue Book value in a tax deduction for your gift of that vehicle. So it's a win-win situation for the single moms out there in Palm Beach County, and also a winning situation for you and for our charity.
Sure. And again, we are listening to AMP2.TV if anybody wants to see us. A call-in number is 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470. If anybody wants to call in with any questions, we're here. So, yes.
Sabrina, can I interject here a minute?
Sure.
I'd like to mention something about the donation of the car. It's really exciting. What we found is a lot of our donors have actually connected with the people that they've actually passed their car forward to or rebirthed, and they've actually seen how these people have grown. We all love cars. Americans
Sure.
are car crazy,
Yes.
and we all have a connection to our cars. And what I've found recently, too, is all our girls have been naming their cars.
Isn't
So
that adorable?
Priscilla and Susie.
Like a teddy bear.
Absolutely.
That's
And-
so sweet. That goes back to childhood.
Right. So think about how great it would be to pass your car forward,
Absolutely.
rebirth it, and actually know who's actually getting it. Just like when you have your car and you pass it down to your kid, and then he gives it to his younger brother, and it stays in the family. Well, this car would really rebirth a whole family. And so sometimes if the two want to connect, we allow that. And we've
So-
seen great friendships blossom from that.
I would like to introduce you. This is Stephen Muschlitz. He is the founder and an amazing, amazing man who has donated his time, his funds to helping the charity blossom and generate a vision for single mothers in need with their children. And again, it's not that this charity at all is negating the single men. There's a lot of single men out there, and I think it's wonderful that you are supporting your family. I think it's wonderful. I commend you. It's awesome. I would like to be able to stay focused on the single women. For what reason? Can the two of you, anybody answer that? Why would it be the women?
82% of single parents in the U.S. are women. And
Interesting.
that's why Wheels from the Heart has chosen to focus on women. In 1970, there were 3.4 million single moms in the U.S., and today there are 9.9 million single moms in the
That's
U.S.
more than triple, isn't it?
Yes. And
Interesting.
it's an amazing phenomenon that the United States has to focus on and do something about. A recent study at Princeton University suggests that one of the primary ways that we can make it possible for these single moms to thrive and become financially sustainable is to give them the opportunity to have access to new career options and education.
Right.
And there's no way that those single moms can pursue those opportunities without having a reliable vehicle.
Absolutely. So, Steve, could you please educate our listeners as to what made you start the foundation?
Wow. So I've been in the car business for a long time. It seems like in 7 years, like dog years. So it feels like 88 years. But I noticed that there was a trend of the single mom and the epidemic of the growing of the numbers of single moms.
Sure.
And I was referred to a lot of single mothers that needed help and needed to buy a car, and were in a situation of whether it was a financial a burden or just out of sheer necessity or a car breaking down, they needed a vehicle. So they were passed over to me or introduced to me, and my heart just broke for these women because I would see a woman toting two babies coming into my office saying, I need a car, I have $300.
Right.
And I just couldn't help everybody, and I didn't know how to help. So I truly, God put it on my heart and started placing people in my life to create this vision. And so now as I look back and reflect my whole entire life, it really was to set up this foundation and for the men to stand up and start to take care of the women and the children. It's a calling in the Bible. It says we are supposed to protect the women, the children, and the orphans. Mm-hmm. And today's single mother is the modern day widow.
Wow. Well, we thank you so much on behalf of single women. I'm one of them, and not only am I single, but a single mother. So I understand the plight of having to be on your own and take care of children and do the best that you can. And sometimes there is a very high frustration level based on the fact that you feel very alone and very isolated, and you are not able to get the help that you need. I would like to introduce right now Reverend Don Mook. Thank you so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
Oh, we okay. Well, here. Oh,
There goes our sign.
wait. We want to show
Sorry.
a sign. Then
There
I
you
guess
go.
that's what it is.
That's right.
So wait, here we go. All right, we're donating. Can you guys see this? Donate, sell your car, help single moms in need. www.wheelsfromtheheart.org. That is the organization, and this beautiful gentleman here has been helping the organization, and we'd love to know a little bit more, Reverend Don, if you could please let us know what attracted you to helping Wheels from the Heart.
No question. It's my relationship with Steve. We've been friends for more than 20 years, and I've seen Steve grow as I've grown. And one of the great things that I had the opportunity to see was Steve's vision for single moms. And having been in ministry and in service and in charities for 35 years, the remarkable thing that I saw with Wheels from the Heart, and I continue to see, is this amount of need, first of all, but second of all, the impressive way that Steve and the charity has approached trying to bridge the gap between a single mom's need for transportation and this opportunity to give them cars. And I have to tell you, in 3 years of Steve, it's been remarkable. I've told you this before. I've never seen a charity that has done so much good in such a short period of time
With so little, right?
and with such little
Absolutely.
funding.
That's key as well.
I've had to talk with Steve numerous times about the need to get some more infrastructure and funding behind this, but it is so much from Steve's heart. And that, to me, makes it valuable. And the fact that, how many cars have you given away in the last couple of years?
In 20 months, we've done about 37 cars.
37 cars. I'm telling you, I don't know of a charity that has such a high, that's a high dollar ticket thing, even though the cars are not something that somebody would, they're not flashy, they're usable transportation,
Absolutely.
maybe anywhere from 5 to 8 years old, something like that.
Correct.
And so nobody's going to get wealthy getting having a car donated or getting a donated car, but these women have a chance to propel their lives. They're already going in the right direction, right?
Correct, yep.
Because Steve, we talked in the early days about vetting and
Absolutely.
how important that was, and I want you to talk about that in a second, because that's really, really important for people who are listening to make sure that they understand that the charity takes seriously wanting to help single moms who are on their way to having a productive life.
I think if I may interject
Yeah,
here,
sure.
that's a great question for our listeners to understand is vetting. How are these women vetted, and do you work with any other organizations as far as the vetting process is concerned?
Well, it was quite interesting as, this was placed on my heart, this mission, and I started to, just travel, go to different events and different charities and different meetings and churches. It was quite puzzling to me that this was never really addressed. The lack of car transportation for single mothers was never addressed. In the whole entire country, there are a few people that are doing it, but not to the extreme that everybody would think, because a car is so instrumental in your daily life. I ask people again, you get up at Monday morning at 9, and let's go through your day till Thursday morning at 10. Let me know what you've gotten done. What have you achieved?
Right.
Kids to school, doctor's appointments. Now, imagine that time on a bus. How unproductive is it on a bus? Those hours is almost 20 hours. That's one half of a lot of people's work week
It's a
that these
long
women are on the
time.
bus.
And they don't complain, do they?
No. So what we
amazing.
found is the women that come to us, we're a mid to finish point. We're not a starting point. So the women that come to us have already shown their the work that they've done with different organizations. They're employed, sometimes 2 jobs, sometimes 3 jobs. They're working really, really hard. They're doing everything they can to provide a better life for their child. And so when they come to us, they're ready to go. This is the next step to catapult them to self-sufficiency. So we work with different organizations, Dress for Success and Family Promise.
Boys and Girls Club,
Boys
I
and
know
Girls
that,
Club.
yes,
His Caring Place. And it was
So big
interesting.
charities, big
Big
organizations.
charities. And what happens is they do a lot of the vetting for us. They've known these people for a year,
Sure.
year and a half, sometimes 2 years. So they know, because it's very important that when someone receives a vehicle from us, that they're going to be able to understand that there is a responsibility, like every other listener out here.
Absolutely.
When
Yes.
your tires are needed, what do? You go buy tires. When the
Right.
oil needs to be changed, you change the oil. It's important for them to know that this is just a gift. This is not a a lifetime. We want to be involved with them as a family for the rest of their lives if we can, but they need to know that there's bills to be paid. This is a used car, and along with a used car becomes responsibility.
Absolutely. So I'd like for our callers to be able to call in. Again, the number is 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470, wheelsfromtheheart.org. An amazing organization that's been around shy of 20 months, has already donated 37 cars to vetted women, single mothers in need with their children. So when you donate a car, it is not just one car that is being donated. Yes, in fact, it's one car, but the mission is much bigger than that one car, because really what the car is doing is assisting and helping this single mother that I love to say, giving a voice to the voiceless. She needs help. We can help her. Anybody that's out there that needs to have a tax write-off, that has an older car or a new car, I'm sure you'll accept new cars as well,
Absolutely.
right, ladies and gentlemen?
Absolutely.
We urge you, we ask of you to please donate by going to wheelsfromtheheart.org. That's www.wheelsfromtheheart.org. And or, again, you can call in at 888-565-1470, and you can also ask any questions. We've got a panel of beautiful people here tonight that are all vetted, interested, and great-hearted people that are doing wonderful, transparent things. So again, those are the numbers, that's the information, and I would love to be able to go back to you, Annie,
Sure.
and ask you, how does it work if somebody wants to donate? How do they donate? If I say I'm listening to this program and I say, wow, this is a transparent organization. It's an instant impact for a woman and her children. How do I help? What do I do? If I have a car, let's say.
If you have a car, the best way to donate is to call us. And you can find our number, if you don't have a way to write it down right now, at www.wheelsfromtheheart.org. It's right there on our website. Or you can repeat it for the folks right now.
Well, let me
Sabrina?
see. Okay, hold on one second. Let me see if I remember. So, and if I have it wrong, please help me. But I'm going to try to see if I can remember. 561, 561. Wait, the last part is 7444 561. Help me out, guys.
445.
561 445 7444 561 445. Can you guys help me out there?
7444.
I'd like to say one more thing that I hope will inspire people. Everybody that's working with Wheels from the Heart right now wants to have the goal of giving away to deserving single moms 50 cars in 2016. And that means that we're going to need a lot of help from our community. So whether you have cash to donate to us, you want to make a credit card gift by going onto our site, or you have that car that we talked about earlier, those are all ways that you can help.
Well, the car, again, is a full Kelly Blue Book value. Do you want to share my microphone with me?
Can I say
Come on
something?
closer. I don't bite. Come on closer, Reverend. You have so much to say, Reverend.
No,
Sean.
Steve, why don't you talk to, because some people out there might have a car, but they're afraid that it's not in good enough shape for a single mom. So if they can they still donate that car?
Absolutely. We'll take any car. We have mechanics, we have body shops, we have different types of people that have volunteered their time and their services to make that car new, whether it's a paint job, new tires,
Body
anything,
work,
anything that needs to be done. And the one thing I'd like to mention too is one thing that's very important is we all have a cause, and usually that cause is something that's touched our lives, some kind of an effect, a positive or negative, and that's what we relate to. Well, I will say that every cause has a single mother attached to it, whether her child's fighting with cancer and she can't get to the doctors, whether the child wants to get to athletic programs and can't get to athletic programs, even summer camps. We met a girl at a bus stop, had 2 kids. We just went up and started talking to her. We bought her lunch just to find out what was going on in her life. And she shared with us that her kids had to follow her around all day because she could get them to camp. The camp was free, but she couldn't get them there.
Right.
There's no way to get them there. So these children had to spend the entire summer following mom around at different jobs because there was no babysitter and no way to get them to that camp. And we've even had some people that have actually come to get cars from us and they couldn't even get a ride to receive a free car. So when I go back to the cause, I challenge everyone out there to just think, when I say the words single mother, I guarantee you that there is someone in your life that instantly comes to mind, whether it was your mother, whether it was your mother's mother, whether it's your sister, it's your daughter in some case, it could be your kids' teachers. There's single mothers everywhere, and we're all aware of them. We just seem to forget about them sometimes.
I can definitely relate to that. And I've started to actually volunteer for the cause because I was raised by a single mother, and she worked 2 jobs for a short time, 3 jobs to make ends meet. So I was that little girl at the bus stop with my sister and my mother, and we were in New York at the time. So from the bus stop, we went to the train station. I definitely know the plight of the little girl from a little girl's perception. And I always thought to myself as that little girl at the bus stop that when I grow up, I'm going to not be in that situation if I can. And I was going to help my mother because I've seen my mother struggle so much and be completely selfless and sacrifice so much to help her children. So these are women that are really the women that as I said, I've started volunteering for your organization because I just so believe in the plight. And some of these women, and I've said it, and I won't say the person's name, but as I was interviewing her, she was coming home from work. It was late at night, and she got sexually violated. So here she is, her children are waiting for her to come home, as she has done every night, and mommy doesn't show up that night. So if you can donate even $1 or $100,000 and anywhere in between, I understand this plight firsthand, and I also feel for the women that really do have no voice in this whole conversation. So, Stephen, you're absolutely wonderful for doing what you're doing. Wow. Annie and Reverend Don, you guys are absolutely phenomenal and incredible people, all of you. So I'm honored to be in your presence.
The car that's given to these women is a direct impact. It's an instant impact. And I'll give you a quick story today. One of our recipients received a car about 6 months ago. She came into the office today in tears, hysterical. Right. She's from Haiti, so she speaks mostly Creole, very little English. But we got through to her, we spoke to her, and she said that her car, the engine was blown at the mechanics, and the mechanic wanted the title and said, I'll give you $200, your car is ruined. So basically, we were patient enough to walk through it. We called one of our volunteer mechanics. He instantly dropped everything. He drove to the house where the car was, and it needed an oil pump. $250 or $200, I believe it was, and the car's running fine. So here was something, and it's not everybody, but it happens. She was about to give her car up for $200 for someone to take advantage of her. And we need to fill that gap. As you said, Reverend Don, we need to step up and fill the gap and protect the single moms.
Well, I would also like to say, if there are any mechanics out there, if there are any body shops out there, Tire Kingdom, Tires Plus, Publix, Wendy's, any of these stores and businesses, you have single mothers, Publix, single mothers, Winn-Dixie, single mothers, Burger King, Taco Bell. So many different businesses have single mothers. I urge of you and I ask you to help in any way, maybe develop a campaign for the charity.
And one of the sayings that we have is, you can give a single mom a ride to work, she'll work for a day. If you give a single mom a car, she drives for a better life.
That's a great saying, and that actually helps empower women, I think. And I think that's really a very important thing, is to say, we're empowering women, we're not disempowering them. We're allowing them to be independent, not codependent.
And also, all our girls pay back. We have 3 or 4 girls that are nurses. We've had girls that have become therapists for human trafficked young girls. We've had girls, women working with all types of organizations. They couldn't go and help their church, and now they're helping their church. So they're touching thousands of lives after just us being able to touch them. They're paying it forward. I call it praying it forward. But that's just exactly the success that we've had. It's been unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Steve, can you tell the story? I love the story about the lady who was wanted to be a nurse.
Well, we just had a lady that was, she was going to have to give up nursing school. She couldn't get to school, and all of a sudden we provided her a car, and now she graduated and she's a nurse.
Well, again, Sabrina Barnett, and we are here with Stephen, Annie, and Reverend Don from wheelsfromtheheart.org. Thank you so much for listening to us. Thank you so much for your time. We truly appreciate it. www.wheelsfromtheheart.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Taking Care of Business, powered by AMP2.TV. You can reach AMP2.TV by calling 866-224-5422 and join the AMP2.TV radio TV network. We give you all the tools you need to have your own show, both on radio and TV, and bring new energy and ideas to the business you're trying to promote. If you want to be a leader in new concepts and make your business #1 in the area, AMP2.TV has the platforms to get you there. 866-224-5422 is the number to get you started. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsor